Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. This is Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today I wanted to, first and foremost, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. We love you. We appreciate you. We are grateful and thankful for the impact that you have on our lives. So I wanted to talk Love and Marriage Huntsville. I wanted to talk about Kimmie being the bone collector this season. And usually on the shows where people are the bone collector, they do not have to share much, or if anything, about what's going on actually in their personal life. And so we got bamboozled, I think, like the first episode or two, where it was like, oh, they're talking about the picture that Marceau posted, But it was very much like I had left that where Kimmie was like, well, we weren't married at the time, so doesn't matter to me, no big deal, blah, 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 blah. And then she went from being the go-between Melody and Letitia and being the go-between, Letitia and Kiki and everything else. And basically, she is being set up to be the person who's, quote, the moderator, but also interjects when she also wants to be messy, right? When she wants to be messy, when people are trying to reconcile with her, and then there's like something messy that takes place, and then she waited last night's episode till things completely escalated beyond before she decided to interject. And we literally know nothing about what is going on with Kimmie and Maurice this season. If you guys are paying attention, there was talk, of course, at first about the picture, which continued at Melody's slumber party. And then, Kimmie and Maurice went away on a honeymoon. And also, they brought some things over to Jalen's housewarming, but pretty much all of Kimmie's scenes have been about this back and forth with Tisha and Mel, because Mel, up until this point, has not filmed with Tisha. So Kimmie is being the bone collector and basically going back and forth. But the problem is she's putting a little bit of butter. She's putting a little bit of icing on the cake. She's putting a little bit of a cherry on top of the sundae on what she is telling back to some of these women that has, things way more escalated than what it needed to be. It wasn't, this whole thing where it's just, one person that's saying anything about Tisha and her marriage. There were multiple women who were making comments, who were asking questions about Tisha and her marriage. But the targeted way that Kimmie presented this to Tisha was on purpose, because she knew who Tisha was going to come for when it was all said and done. Even though there were receipts on between Stormy and between Kiki, who really drove the conversation, who really brought up the conversation to keep it going, but Tisha still directed that back to being all about Mel. And the irony in this is that this all started because of Martell. This started because of Martell saying that Marceau had 20 girlfriends. And that he would know because they used to run the streets together. So it's just funny to me that there's all this smoke for Mel, but there's no smoke for anybody else. Even after Kiki and Stormy basically go back and forth on actually who started it or who continued it or whatever, but they were like the main factors discussing Tisha's marriage, but she only cares if it's Mel that says something. So let that sink in, you guys. But yeah, I don't like this bone carrier role that Kimmie is playing this season, because it never ends well. And eventually you have to choose a side if you haven't already. And then there starts to be some bias that comes involved. And then we know nothing about your personal life at all. We know nothing. It's a way for you to sidestep and avoid talking about your marriage, avoid talking about any issues or any things that you guys have going on, in favor of continuing the beef between the ladies as an intermediate. And so that I feel a certain type of way about, because now none of the interactions with Tisha or with Mel are going to be genuine on Kimmie's part. It's just going to be about getting the tea and playing telephone and telling each other what each other is saying about them and adding her own little spin on top of it as well, so that by the time that they do meet, it's going to be even more messy, more negative, and more toxic than what it needed to be. Instead of just hearing the person's side of the story, instead of just going in for the jugular. So those are the thoughts that I have. What do you guys think of Kimmie being the bone collector this season for Love and Marriage Huntsville? What do you think of, the spin of some of the things that she is relaying back to the ladies that is making a lot of these sit downs a lot more toxic, argumentative, and escalated than what they needed to be? Had people just picked up the phone and had an actual conversation. Like, this is festered. We're 7 episodes in? And Tisha's known about this slumber party for how long? Why hasn't she picked up the phone to talk to Mel directly if she had an issue about allegedly hearing Mel say her name or discuss the picture or what have you? But only wanted to talk to Kiki, and that was it, right? Was, try to make it seem like she was upset at first, that Kiki was there discussing her marriage or what have you. But really the bottom line is it's all about Mel, right? We've completely deflected after it was proven that Mel didn't start the conversation about Tisha. And then we came right back around to making it about Mel. So there is that. I see through the tactics. I do not like the bone carriers, because there's an art to being a bone carrier to where you can still be neutral, you can still be unbiased. You're going to be a bone carrier that adds something additional on it to make it more nasty and malicious and inappropriate than what it was, then it's not a good idea, because now we're seeing things reach Love and Hip Hop levels, which is turning off the fans. The show is supposed to be about Love and Marriage Huntsville, was supposed to be about Black entrepreneurs, was supposed to be about Black excellence, Black people in real estate, Black people in construction, Black people owning their own businesses, and how they were providing and giving back to the community in Huntsville, Alabama. And we have completely gone away from that. And we are filming fake scenes at Maurice's, place or whatever, at Destiny's empty hair supply store, and basically just talking about the same drama over and over, and people are over it. And people playing go-between and bone carrier because Mel's not filming with people. So it's just very exhausting, and I just don't think this is the turn that the show needed to take, and it's going to end up resulting in a lot of fans tuning out. Because if they wanted to watch Love and Hip Hop, they would watch Love and Hip Hop. But they were specifically, plugged into this show because they were hoping this was really going to highlight how these people became successful and, continuing to build, continuing to grow in their businesses. And then once it shifted to be about Martell and Melody's marital issues, it's never recovered. It has never come back to, what the show was supposed to originally be intended for. And I'm wondering if that was ever the intent to begin with. That might have been the original selling point to lure in the fans, to make fans think this was about Black excellence. But because Carlos King is behind this was always going to turn to a different direction that was expected. And here we are. Here we are, you guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you guys think? Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.